Hi, welcome back to Trade Ups with Zed. Today we're going to be trying a little experiment. I was having a conversation in the comments with one of my viewers, and I love talking to viewers, and they brought up the possibility that trade ups might not work like they do, like I've proposed in TF2. They might work like they work in Counter-Strike. Now I don't play Counter-Strike, but my understanding is in Counter-Strike, it's based on the number of outputs from each of your trade up items. So for example, this tough break item can be traded up only into a well-wrapped hat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 well-wrapped hats. And then Summer 2019 can be traded up into the Bare Necessities, the Fiery Phoenix, Unforgiven Glory, or Bobby Bonnet. So that's 4 outputs, and we get those 5 times. So there would be 5 possible well-wrapped hats, and 5 possible of each of the 4 options here. So there would be 25 different options, and 5 of them would be the well-wrapped hat, 5 of them would be Bare Necessities, 5 would be Fiery Phoenix, 5 would be Unforgiven Glory, and 5 would be Bobby Bonnet. If you look at the items opened on the right, that kind of shows you what the Counter-Strike trade-up would look like. It would be an equal chance of all of them, because they all have 5 possible outputs, so it would be equal here. How I believe the trade-ups work, and how I believe the community thinks the trade-ups work, is like this. When you do a trade-up, one of these 10 items are selected, and they're all equally likely. If we land on one of these tough break items, it will only be a well-wrapped hat. However, let's say that one of the Summer 2019s was chosen. If this is chosen, which is happening about half the time, it's going to pick then randomly one of the 4 outputs. So we would get the Bare Necessities a quarter of the time, Fiery Phoenix a quarter of the time, Unforgiven Glory a quarter of the time, and Bobby Bonnet a quarter of the time. What that looks like is the item open chart on the right. So we would have 50% of the time we're going to get a well-wrapped hat, and about 12.5% time we're going to get the rest. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do 20 of these trade-ups. It's not super profitable for me because I bought, hundreds of these items and I bought out the market. So I'm losing about half a key on each trade-up. But that's okay. Doing 20 trade-ups, that means I'm losing like 10 keys, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't mind losing it to learn which one is which. Now, I don't know if 20 will be statistically significant or not. I'm going to do a cheat test at the end, which is going to tell me the likelihood that the collection belongs to either the equally likely option from Counter-Strike or the one that I'm proposing, which is the TF2 trade-ups. So by the end, we should be able to know how likely it is that one belongs to the other. If it's the TF2 way, we're going to see half well-wrapped hats. And if it's the Counter-Strike way, we're going to see 20% a well-wrapped hat. So hopefully with 20, we're able to figure that out. Here is trade-up number 1. We get, wow, a well-wrapped hat. Something is broken on my screen here. Okay, we're going to do it again. I forgot to say which the best hits are. We're just really looking for Unforgiven Glory or the Fiery Phoenix, or I guess the Bare Necessities. Bobby Bonnet and a well-wrapped hat are both pretty big losses. So let's see what we get. Number 2. That one is Unforgiven Glory. That's great. I wonder why this is showing up. Let me restart my TF2 to see if I can fix this. Okay, we'll see if it works this time. Number 3. That's looking better. A well-wrapped hat. That's a loss of a key 0.3. My cost to open today is 1.39 because, like I said, I bought out the entire market. So we'll see. Well, we're definitely losing unless we get really lucky with Unforgiven Glory. Okay, number 4. We get a well-wrapped hat again. Number 5, same deal. That's the Fiery Phoenix. We only lose half a key there. Number 6, same trade up. That's the bare necessities, losing half a key. Going on to number 7. A well-wrapped hat. Number 8. Another well-wrapped hat. Next one, I'm out of the Bonk Batter's backup. We're going to switch to the Chill Chulo. Chill Chulo? Chill Chulo. I don't know. This is number 9. That's the Fiery Phoenix. Number 10 is up next. The Bare Necessities. Going on to number 11. We get Bobby Bonnet. That's our worst hit from that side of the trade up. Going on to number 12. A well-wrapped hat. Number 13. Another well-wrapped hat. Number 14. Another well-wrapped hat. Number 15. Another well-wrapped hat. Number 16. The Fiery Phoenix. Number 16. A well-wrapped hat. Number 18. The Fiery Phoenix. Number 19. A well-wrapped hat. And number 20. Bobby Bonnet. Okay, well, if we look at our chart on the right, it certainly seems like a well-wrapped hat was picked 50% of the time, which means that the theory of it being based on inputs and not outputs seems to hold true. Let me go pop over to my spreadsheet and we can do some statistical analysis together. So I popped everything into a spreadsheet that's going to let us do some analysis. So here was every option we had. Here was my proposed TF2 trade-up odds. So we expected well-wrapped hat half the time. We expected each of these half the time, but they were split evenly. So that's how we get that 12.5%. The expected count is just 20 times our percentage. So we expected 2.5 of each of these items, and we expected 10 of well-wrapped hats. The alternative odds would be if this worked like Counter-Strike. So 20% of the time we get each of these outputs. And the alternative count is just that multiplied by 20. Here's what we actually opened. So we got 2 Bobby Bonnets, 2 Bare Necessities, 4 Fiery Phoenix, 1 Unforgiven of Glory, which is pretty sad, because that was our best hit, and 11 well-wrapped hats. So if I do a cheat test here, so this is comparing the observed range with the expected range. So we observed 2, 2, 4, 1, 11, and we expected 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, and 10. So the chance that this came from something that looks like this is 71.74%. Now if we look at the alternative, So we look at our observed 2, 2, 4, 1, 11 versus our alternative count, which should have been 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. It says there's a 0.24% chance that it works like that. So ultimately, there's a 0.24% chance that, based on my data, that it works like Counter-Strike. So I'm going to say that that's highly unlikely. Now, I am a computer scientist and a mathematician, but I am not a statistician. So if you are someone who's into statistics and I've done something wrong here, please correct me in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to make sure that I'm doing my chi test correctly, because this kind of analysis extends to crates as well. Let's say we didn't know what the expected odds were, and we opened a bunch of crate 92. What do we think the actual odds are? We could try to guess and check. I mean, guess and check is not the statistical way, but you know what I'm saying. We can use chi tests and other kind of statistical tests to try to determine what the expected distribution might be, and does our distribution come from it. Anyways, that's it for today. I feel really happy that I got to help dispel a myth that some people might have about how trade-ups work in TF2. So as a reminder, this teaches us a lesson about how trade-ups in TF2 might work. I think it works like I said at the beginning, that you have 10 items, one of them is chosen, and then from that chosen item, it picks one of the upgrades randomly. So using something like the anything from Tough Break in Commando, because it can only trade up into one item, it would work great if it was like a Counter-Strike trade up, but unfortunately this isn't, so there's no cheat code with the well-repped hat option. We just have to stick to how it works in TF2. If you want to know the best kind of trade-ups to do based on how this works, I use little tables like the one at the bottom left to try to show you how trade-ups work, and I've done lots of videos on it. So if you want to check out some more trade-up videos, I have lots you can view. You can go see how some trade-ups are profitable. Not every trade-up has to be a loss. There are some trade-ups where the expected value is higher than the cost to open. If you want to take the best chances, make sure you're subscribed to my channel and that you check out some more of my content. Anyways, that's it for today. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're taking the best chances and that you're finding space to take care of yourselves. Take care out there. Bye bye.